The Chiefs came up clutch in the biggest of ways last Sunday, defeating Buffalo in an all-time classic to punch their ticket to the AFC title game against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's take a moment to recap what happened against Buffalo because it was absolutely insane. The first 58 minutes were a heavyweight fight that was impressive enough on its own, but the final 2 minutes and overtime were something else entirely. 25 points were scored, the most in the final 2 minutes of a postseason game in NFL history, and between the last 2 minutes and overtime, Patrick Mahomes completed 10 of 13 passes for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns. That stretch included a legendary drive that got the Chiefs in range for a game-tying field goal despite taking over with only 13 seconds remaining on the clock. When that series began, Buffalo had a 91% chance of winning, but if you give the Chiefs any reason to believe, they'll take advantage. You could go a lifetime without seeing a game like that one. It was nothing short of breathtaking, and through all the craziness, the Chiefs came out on top. That sets up a showdown for the AFC title against the Cincinnati Bengals, who beat the Chiefs on a last-second field goal back in Week 17. Every game is a learning experience that features the good and the bad, and this one was no different. The Chiefs did a lot of great things in that game. They racked up more than 400 yards of offense and found the end zone on 4 of their first 5 possessions, leading for the bulk of the game. But penalties, big plays allowed, and uncharacteristic mistakes ultimately let the Bengals hang around. The good news is that those mistakes are largely preventable, particularly the self-inflicted wounds, so that will need to be a focus on Sunday. And speaking of good news, the Chiefs' offense is on fire right now. They've scored touchdowns on 11 of their last 18 drives. And get this, prior to this year, only 3 quarterbacks in NFL postseason history had ever thrown for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns while completing at least 75% or more of their passes in multiple games. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Kurt Warner each did it exactly twice during their careers. Not in one postseason, their entire careers. Patrick Mahomes, meanwhile, has done it twice during this current postseason run alone. Mahomes and the offense will look to keep that going on Sunday against a Bengals defense that ranks 17th in scoring this year, but they've been tremendous during Cincinnati's playoff run. The Bengals held both Las Vegas and Tennessee under 20 points while surrendering just 2 red zone touchdowns and 8 trips combined. They've also been opportunistic, forcing 5 turnovers over their 2 postseason games. Those takeaways have meant more chances for Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow to show that he's one of the best young players in football. Burrow was outstanding this season, throwing for 34 touchdowns while leading the NFL in completion percentage. He's been impressive during this playoff run too, throwing for 348 yards last week against Tennessee. The trouble for Burrow all season long, though, has been pressure, and that's continued into the playoffs. No player was sacked more than Burrow this year. The defense got to him 51 times, and that's significant because Pro Football Focus graded Burrow as the best quarterback in the league this season when given a clean pocket. Those have been hard to come by though, and just last week, the Titans sacked Burrow an NFL postseason record 9 times. The Chiefs' pass rush sacked Burrow 4 times in that Week 17 matchup, and they'll need to get after him again on Sunday because few teams possess an arsenal of playmakers like Cincinnati. From tailback Joe Mixon and receiver T. Higgins to prospective Rookie of the Year Jamar Chase, who had 16 grabs this season of at least 25 yards. Chase is a big play machine. We saw that back in Week 17, and the Chiefs will need to hold him in check this time around if they want to come out on top. The stage is set, Chiefs Kingdom. We're hosting the AFC title game for a 4th straight year. And after a season in which this team has battled through immense adversity at every turn, we're exactly where we set out to be. Let's go take it.